Good morning and welcome in, everyone. Before we get into this morning's update, I'd like to go over just a quick overview and just part of an observation that's been made this morning and over the past several days about what is transpiring with the cryptocurrency market. We can see a bit of a corrective happening here in some phases. Some are still looking pretty strong. Ethereum's come up from about $1,740 yesterday, sits at about $1,830. We've got XRP just slightly correcting so far, about 0.15%. XLM's on 1.1%. DGB's down about 2.5%. If we look at the other markets, you've got gold down $33, giving back most of the recovery from yesterday, but still sitting over 3,300. You've got the dollar DXY's up 1/3%. And you've got the US 10-year up about 0.5% or 0.6% or 3 basis points to 4.23%. So the bond market's moving a little bit. Gold's down, silver's up. Crypto is mixed, mostly down. But Bitcoin is sitting right around 95,170, so still on the top side of this bullish section. We've got XRP sitting up here at $2.29, which is still in a very opportunistic spot. I'm doing this outside because my son's getting ready for school and he decided to want to get ready in the living room. A little windy out here, but nothing major. Nothing major. The information is still the information, whether or not there's wind outside. And I think it's important right now. I really, really do. I think we need to stay motivated. And I think we need to stay observant, because what's going on here is we haven't broke over that 233 yet. We've been consolidating for the last several days. It's about 233. 4 hourly, this could be perceived as a little bit of a bearish candle. I know it's on the top side, made a new high. Hopefully this will act as a reversal. We've still got about, I guess in 3 minutes, it kind of held serve here a little bit. Let's see what the 2 hourly's done here. I'll do the intro real quick and then we'll just discuss this for a few minutes. I want to focus on XRP this morning though. Tonight I should be able to do live as normal. My son's going to attempt school today, so we'll see what happens. Good morning. 7:56 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, April 29th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So again, I thank everybody for tuning in. It means a lot to me to have each and every one of you here every single day that are here. We went over 35,000 subscribers, so I want to at least thank everybody who is subscribed to my channel. It's an extraordinary number, as I'm getting rained on by like the tree stuff. But, you know, that is summertime coming near. But so what we need to do is that $2.32. If we look at this in the 4 hourly, we've had a lot of different events happen. We've had the 20 cross the 200, the 50 cross the 200, and the 100-day is about to cross the 200-day. And if that happens, this is a overall pattern reversal flip confirmed. And it doesn't mean it's 100%, but when you get to this level, usually about 90% of the time, you're going to break up in a golden cross formation, or you're going to break down in a death cross formation when the 100 comes through the 200. Right now, though, the 100 came through in a positive way through the 200 in a golden cross setup, and this is the ultimate setup now if it comes through. And it will. It's just a matter of, do we hold and do we push through, or do we come back and back test? I could see if Bitcoin doesn't get hot here, which it looks like it could, and we're wanting it to get hot here. If it doesn't get hot and it fails at this, let's just say for whatever reason it comes up to 95,600 and it gets rejected, or it gets rejected now, reverses down, we fall through 93,000, you would get that retest right down here near 88. That's all it would mean. We haven't technically got any kind of big retest after the push up past 87,691. So technically all it would be doing is setting up a meeting point with the back test. It's not the end of the world. I would prefer to see it just rally through now. It's more advantageous for even XRP to just rally through here. But I can see, like we talked yesterday, the opportunity if it wants to take to come down, because there is areas. It's just, I think it's more advantageous now if we start to take the up route. We don't really want to start coming back through, like in my opinion. Now, if we look at this from all the way out, and I think we're going to start doing this more often. I've done it the last several days after we measured this off. So if you start looking at this, You can see the range right here. Let me tighten this up a little bit. That's the range because we went to the top, the range to the bottom, back to the level, back to... Actually, that looks pretty good. This is just a little tighter up. No, I guess it is up here because we did have that. You come back through the middle. And I want to say that upper boundary, like I really want to start focusing on this upper boundary like we've been. Because that's the area that every time we touch... Here's the best way for me to say this. So, if you go all the way back to 2014, before the initial breakout back in this consolidation, you broke out massively. Every time you came back, you didn't even stay in this section. And this section becomes important in the 21 rally. You come back down into your supply zone right here. Broke up in 21, got rejected, and that used to be a little demand zone in there. Once you got in there, a bunch of people bought and it shot out of it, and then it was a sell zone bringing you back to supply. Back up, instead of getting the demand to power out, it ended up being just a sell zone again, and it came back down to the new supply zone, which was a little elevated. Last supply zone was down at about 11 cents at the floor. This one's floor was about 28. So that's a 17-cent differential. That's about 130% increase. Now we came back up, hit the demand zone again where people were frenzy buying because they went out of their gall. They seen it coming up and they had the fear of missing out, choo-choo way up. That's what happened here again. And then it looked like it was doing the traditional up, sell through. Didn't make it down, but sell through. Made it up, back into the sell zone. But what happened this time? We held and we started using that supply or demand or the retracement zone back down as an area of liquidity now. Positive liquidity where we found some supply. So for the first time, this is acting as a bit of a supply zone here. Now, if that fails, and let's just say for whatever reason this fails, and we have to come back into the true supply, we're in trouble. Because if you come back down here, this is going to end up filling gaps. This would fill gaps. It goes all the way from about 92 all the way down to that 28 cent, but in time you could see it coming down if it fell through there. So right now we're very advantageous. We are very advantageous. We are trying to fill through these zones that we have never been able to clearly do yet. This is a very advantageous moment. As long as we sit above a $1.89, $1.88 area, we are cooking. Like, we are legitimately cooking. And this could get volatile very quickly to the upside. And if you break through this ultimate resistance zone that goes all the way back to 2017, if this gets rejected again, then, or I mean, if you break out of this, we know what happens if you go down, but if you break out of this zone, you end up coming all the way up to this area, more than likely, which would be the technical zone break. And that was the technical target going back to 2017 or 2021, but it does go back to 2017. All the way to 2024 in November when we finished that descending wedge and finally broke out, or descending triangle, some call it. I kind of think of it as, I guess you could look at it as both. Whatever floats your boat, so to say. And remember, the higher the base, or the wider the base, the higher the space above. So the wider the base, the higher the space. So we've got all this base here now, and if we can hold this base, we've never maximized this base from all the way down in the supply zones, all the way through the resistance, and held that base and ended up using this as a support zone. This has never happened in the history of XRP. It makes it rather significant. In 2 days, however, we do have the escrow dump, so normally we'll have a bit of appreciation before the depreciation, and then we end up leveling off and moving out. We do have a firm double bottom here, and it looks fucking fantastic, excuse my French. Weekly's a weekly engulfing candle. You're not going to do much better than that for the first 2 days of a weekly candle. Already created a new high, and it was a engulfing candle. So, from a positive standpoint, I think we're doing okay. I'll continue to update these charts this afternoon. I'll do a short with my son's in therapy at noon. And then this evening we should be able to get back to normal, do a live. As it is for the short term, for the morning for XRP, I would just simply look at the fact, yesterday we talked about if we wanted to come back down and retest some of these areas, it makes a lot of sense. It would make a lot of sense to retest either the 20-day at 223, 225, or even if you want to come back down here and have an artificial hit, I've seen it before, where you break all the way back down to back test. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen in this circumstance, but it is always a possibility unless we break past $2.32. So that's how I'll leave this. because there is a lot of information to go through. I would encourage you to pay attention to this update and pay attention going back to 2014 so you can see the limitations we might have and also the possibilities and the outcome that could play in our favor going forward. Now, we talked about the retest yesterday. I was hoping we could power past 232, but there's retracements. That could be 224. We could end up looking at that, like we talked about the 100 coming through the 200 area, or the 100 coming through the 200. It's pending. So I would expect a little bit of volatility. We'll see what happens here, though. So make sure to hit that like button. Share this. Turn that bell notification to all. And once again, I appreciate the fact some of you who followed yesterday, it pushed us over 35,000. We had a rather nice following the last couple of days since I switched my approach a little bit. A lot of people are seeming to like what I'm doing. I do personally. I like the positivity. I like the information. And I like the helpfulness from the audience as well. It's been a lot of fun in the lives. Yeah, so, but if you want to look for the lowest spot in leverage trading fees, the one that did not get rid of XRP back in the lawsuit days, even now, 4 or 5 years later, and there's no VPN or KYC, that's BITUNIX. Even in the USA, the only difference is on BITUNIX, you don't send or receive from a bank account. So you're not depositing from a bank. You have to deposit assets or withdraw assets somewhere else to deposit into your bank, which is why I like it. But it saves you. You can swing trade, you can leverage trade, and you're not going to get hammered with fees. To put it in perspective, like a $1,500 leverage trade at 10x is like $2. So, you know, it's very minimal. So take advantage of that. Change the way I do things. I wish I would have known about it in 21. I wouldn't have lost out on almost a couple $1,000s on Uphold just selling a massive gain. I wish I would have known about BITUNIX. I would have sent that from Uphold to BITUNIX, and then I would have simply just sent back the USDT or USDC back to Uphold and cashed it out. That's all I would have done different. So have a blessed day. Stay positive. Keep that positivity, positive over negative. We're helpful, not hurtful in this community. We're winners, not victims. We do not play the victim here in any way. We are winners. And being winners, you've got to have the mindset of I can overcome, I can overachieve, and I can maintain no matter what happens in this market. Look at it that way.